It's episode 100 of the Up Your Alley podcast. My name is Taylor. With me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggett. Say hi, Jake.
Hello, buddy.
We're here. It's episode 100. Yesterday was Thanksgiving if you're in America. Happy belated Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Black Friday. Try not to murder anyone while you're shopping for a TV.
Go ahead and try.
Yeah, try. Just don't do it. I don't think attempting a murder is a crime, is it?
I don't, show me the rule book where it says you can't attempt a murder.
I've never heard that put out as a criminal offense. I think it's no harm, no foul, right?
That's what I hear all the time.
Yeah.
When I'm watching sports.
Anyway, it is episode 100 of this show. If you're new to the show and you're jumping in right here, weird place to jump in, but we're happy to have you. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment and do all that good stuff.
Perfect place to jump in.
Perfect place, because you get a recap of what you get to. This is the cliff notes of episodes 1 through 100.
Yes,
so
sir.
What we think we're going to do here is, since we are recording this a week out, just because it's a holiday week next week, or this past week for you.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to record and do stuff when you're all running around doing family stuff. So it kind of worked out well. My original plan for episode 100, I'll tell you this. So what my original plan was, when I thought it lined up perfectly, is we were going to go see Gladiator 2. And then I was going to make you record episode 100, where I was going to recommend something that I've had in my back pocket for you. Yeah. And the episode was meant to just break you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Because one thing that
you don't think I'm going to like Gladiator 2?
I think you'll think Gladiator 2 is okay, but I was going to top that on with also making you watch the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven.
Okay.
So you were going to have 6.5 hours of Ridley Scott historical epic to talk about, and you were just going to run out of things to say. That was my plan. I decided it would be mean, but also the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven is amazing.
That's what I hear. I hear that's one of his best. Right?
I know. Oh, it'll be a wreck. Trust me. I'm going to find a way to...
I'm ready. Is that Orlando Bloom?
It is Orlando Bloom.
I knew it.
And Edward Norton is the king with leprosy.
Edward Norton's such a weird name.
Huh?
I keep saying it in my head. Edward Norton.
Those are both very normal names.
Edward Norton.
He's a man like myself. He's got two first names, Edward and Norton.
He's a man like myself.
He is. In more ways than one.
Last I checked, he's a man just like me, baby.
But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of look back. So I gave Jake some data.
Yeah.
First things first. So what I wanted to do was initially, for those who are new to the show, you may not know, but we at one point we kept score.
Yes.
And we kind of stopped keeping score.
Well, at some point, because we didn't update it one time.
Right.
And then I said, let's just keep it that way and see how long it takes for anybody to notice.
Right. So we stopped keeping score in episode 24. At that point, the score was me with 55 points and Jake with 54 points.
Yeah.
And then I think for about 10 weeks, we kept saying the score was 55 to 54. Yeah. And then eventually, I think one of your friends was just like, hey, what's going on with the score?
Yeah.
And I had someone reach out and say, are you going to figure out what the score is?
Yeah.
Thinking that, I'm sure they thought that I was actually keeping track secretly.
Yeah, right.
Which I initially did.
Oh, really?
And then that fell off too. So then my plan was to go back and figure out what the score was going to be. Which turns out, so I was like, I don't want to listen to all this.
Up your alley. I don't want to listen to all this.
I don't want to. That's why you're coming in with episode 100, because you don't want to listen to all of this. You just want like the cliff notes. So iTunes has a feature where you can find the transcript.
That's fantastic.
So I would go.
Honestly, that's probably my favorite use of AI is closed captioning or transcripts.
Yes.
Generation. It's not good.
No.
But it's
No.
That's really cool technology.
It's not good.
No.
So I went to the episodes and I was like, how am I going to find this? Because it's not like, we don't always say it like right at the end or something like that. So I do a Control F and I'm like, I'm just going to search for.
Yeah. It's a
1.
Yeah.
1 we say a lot. 3 we say more than you'd think. 2, it doesn't know which 2 it is sometimes.
That's true.
So when I say if you were to say it's a 2, sometimes the transcript has you say it's a TOO.
Yeah.
So you can't search for TWO. And you can't search, it doesn't type just the number 2 for anything, except sometimes it just does to be fun. So it's maddening to search through.
That's so funny.
I will say this. I made it from episode 24, which is the last time we had an actual score, because I had to go back before then. That episode was after the first All Affleck April. I had recommended John Mulaney's special Baby J, which you gave a 3, and you recommended to me Dr. Game Show, which I also gave a 3. At that point, the score was 55 to 54. I made it up to episode 49.
Okay.
So I did 25.
Try.
I did a good bit. I got the first half. So we have the score of the first half. I don't know if I'm going to go back. And then I started keeping score again at episode 90.
Okay.
That's not true. I kept score episode 90 to 92, and that's when I realized that how hard this was to go back, and then I stopped because I was like, I'm not going to be able to get this done. It was just mind-numbing staring at the screen.
That is so funny.
So episode 49 was I recommended to you the Rolling Stones album Hackney Diamonds, which you gave a 3.
Yep.
And you recommended me the video game Return of the Obra Dinn, which I also gave a 3.
Man, what a banger.
At that, so you have at episode 24, the score is 55 to 54. Do you want to take a guess of what the score was at episode 49, 25 episodes later?
I want to say that we handed out a lot more 3s than we did fewer 1s.
Absolutely.
I think I like that we did a system of we either didn't like it,
ones
didn't
are
care
hard to
for
come
it,
by. Ones
or
are hard to
love.
come by.
Yeah. Because that makes us not do a 1. I would say that 3s were probably more than 2s.
Yes.
And that's 25 episodes, so I would say we're looking at, let's call it 120 to 124.
Not far off.
Hey, yeah.
Your score is 119.
Ooh, I was really close.
That's what I gave you.
Okay.
You, Mr. I think we gave out a lot more 3s. Absolutely correct. My score is 133. So I'm winning by 14 points.
That's because I like everything.
Yeah, just looking back over those episodes, ones that you gave out.
Yeah. I know.
It was just one of them. In that 25 arc span, you gave out 1.
The Big Short?
No, that was beforehand.
Oh,
that was like episode 3.
Okay.
The Flash.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which
I do think about that, and I do think about the score that I gave it, and then I remember that, yes, it's deserved.
In that time span, I gave 1s to Karate Robo Zabogar.
Oh, see, that was to be mean.
Under the Skin. FLCL. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Again, to be mean.
And The Exorcist.
It's so crazy that every one of these are
things
classics.
You knew I wouldn't like. Under the Skin is not a classic. Neither is FLCL.
Is people use it. They say that it's influential to them when they're making movies now. Yeah, because it's great.
Movies aren't good.
There's a documentary about the guy, the weird looking guy in Under the Skin now.
In that time span, we did so just a bit of lore for the podcast. 2 episodes have been deleted. We've lost 2 of them. So
we lost the Mr. Beast episode.
We lost the episode where we talked about Mr. Beast and a movie whose name I forget, but it's alien monster. It's like Gwar. You recommended it.
Psycho Gorman.
Psycho Gorman. So that was the one episode we just lost. We chalked that up to Mr. Beast, and I will say this: it's a lost episode. We called all the Mr. Beast stuff way ahead of time. We said nothing nice about him. We definitely didn't say we wish to emulate anything he does or have his success. It was all very critical things.
I knew he was a bad person.
Yeah, I believe in that episode you did say there's something about him that I don't trust. Turns out, spot on. Like, you called that perfectly. The second episode was you had recommended the album 3 Feet and Rising by De La Soul. And I recommended the film Lucy to you.
Okay.
It was after you recommended Under the Skin, I recommended Lucy. I feel like Lucy was a 1.
Yes, it was a 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there were 2 1s in there for you. And it would have been another 3 for me because I gave De La Soul a 3. So the score is probably closer to 121 for you or 122 for you. So it's closer than you'd think.
Well,
you also gave Mr. Beast a 6, which was weird. I mean,
I couldn't recommend.
You said all these negative things about him, but you're like,
I gave him
he's
a 6
still
because
6.
This video is good and he is good.
I believe you said in about a year there's going to be a whole industry of people making YouTube videos just criticizing what he does constantly.
I think about this all the time. One of my favorite things that we've done on this podcast is one of the very early episodes. just to have a little fun, you said, Jacob, hit him with the theme song. And I just started singing a song out of my head. And just the look of terror in your eyes when I was trying to pull out whatever I could.
You know what? I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find that and I'm gonna clip it in right here.
My name is Jake. Hey, everybody. His name is Tate. Hey, everybody, you are stuck in this alley. The premise of the show is that we're stuck in an alley. It was so funny.
I'm going to find it. I don't know what episode it is.
You thought I was going to be like, oh, I'm not going to sing, but no, man, I gave it whatever I could.
Just know, when you hear this back, I neglected my family for some part of Thanksgiving week to go back and find that clip. And that's what I did instead of figuring out the actual
It
story.
had to have been before Brother Bill was...
before we had the actual...
song.
I don't think we got the theme song until like last year at some point. It was like episode 70
Maybe.
or so.
Brother Bill is indeed our friends.
Yeah.
And it's very cool of them to let us use their music.
That negotiation for getting this theme song consisted of me texting the lead singer saying, is that cool? And I think he said, yeah, sure, I don't care.
Yeah. No,
and
he
then
said,
I
I'm
said
happy
back,
to help.
And I said back, there's no money involved. Because after 100 episodes, there's no money involved. No. We did have a sponsor. That's a fun look back.
Yeah, that's true.
We were sponsored by BetterHelp.
Yeah. We had sponsored for a little bit there.
Which I didn't even tell them we stopped doing it. So
there were like a commission.
Yeah,
thing.
So here's a little peek behind the curtain about podcasting. If you don't know, unless you're a big name podcast, the advertisers don't pay you. Like, so when
they're doing the use code,
right. So Joe Rogan,
Milk Me.
Joe Rogan
Mommy.
has a.
I don't know
what podcast do you listen to?
Milk Me Mommy.
BigSoftTitty.png.
Yeah, absolutely.
With Tom Wilson. So like when Joe Rogan does an ad, he was doing an ad right before it came out for Call of Duty Black Ops 6, where it was Microsoft paying Joe Rogan. Like he gets paid up front for an ad read. Dude, you have to listen to that ad. It's
so funny.
It's hilarious.
That guy talking about video games.
No, so he does it a little bit, and then so here's how the ad works. It's Joe Rogan talking about like, hey, get into the action with Call of Duty Black Ops, and then it like cuts away like it's a ruse, and there's this guy that comes in, he's like, I'm the person like this, and I'm gonna give you the secret briefing and everything like that, and then it cuts back to Joe Rogan. He's like, wow, that sounds fun. It's
gosh darn it, dude.
It's so weird. You gotta listen.
He's got
to that.
such a big audience. People are like, Can we please advertise Call of Duty with you?
But if you're listening to a smaller podcast like this one, and you hear them say something like BetterHelp, like we were doing BetterHelp, and we say, I think it was sign up with the promo code Alley, which you might still be able to do. I didn't tell them we're terminating our thing. I just stopped reading the ad. So you would go to betterhelp.com/Alley and put in the promo code. You get 10% off your first order. I still remember the ad read. And so how that would work is if you signed up with that link, we would get $200.
Yeah.
We don't get anything else. So if a smaller podcast, these are commission-based ads. So if you like a podcast and there's a product you like,
yeah, definitely use their code.
Use their code because it helps out.
Yeah.
I'm on one of my favorite comedians and one of my favorite podcasters, Pete Holmes. He's my Gwyneth Paltrow goop. Is Pete Holmes.
Yes, he is. He offered you pants one time.
PerfectJean.com. I'm wearing them right now. They're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. He has a little energy supplement called Magic Mind that he swears by. I took one before we started recording.
Oh, yeah?
Just gives you a little bit of boost. It's not jittery because it's not caffeine, but it just wakes you up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And also, he has Modern Mammals for your hair. My hair's fantastic. If you want your hair not to be poofy, but you still want it to look good and you want to shampoo it every day, Modern Mammals. I use promo code WEIRD for every one of those. So if you have a podcast, support them. Like that's a good way to support small podcasts. Joe Rogan doesn't make any money if you download Call of Duty. He gets paid up front.
Yeah.
And if there's a bunch of podcasts that do the same thing, like there's a bunch of ads like Athletic Greens is a big one. Ground News is another one that's on a bunch of podcasts. Mm-hmm. Pick your favorite podcast and sign up for that month trial. Yeah. Cancel it and then sign up again with a different podcast. Kind of spread the wealth around.
Spread the wealth around.
Why not? It's not your money. I mean, it's your money, but it's extra money from them that you can give to your friends.
If you hear it from somebody, use their code.
Definitely use the code. It's worth it and it helps. So let's get into the data. So I
You took all this data, man.
I did. I made a spreadsheet, and then I printed it out, and it's comically small.
Yeah.
So I broke it down into a couple different categories: movies, TV, music, YouTube, which was a separate category for like basically recommending a YouTube channel or things that you could just get.
Yeah. He put the Hunt for Gollum there.
That's a YouTube thing. That's not a movie.
It a movie.
Like that's a real.
That's a fan movie.
Other than that, if I didn't have the Hunt for Gollum on there, my first YouTube recommendation was episode 99, which I just realized.
I
Games,
recommend,
books, documentaries, and other. Other is where I put like stand-up comedy specials and podcasts.
Yeah.
I mean, like podcasts could technically have gone into YouTube.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that Camp Gagnon episode.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah,
I think about it a lot because
the podcast that he's on with Andrew Schultz kind of took a heel turn, but he seems like a nice enough guy.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they had Trump on and a bunch of people like Backlash, and Andrew Schultz is kind of a pariah in the comedy community right now. And
gross.
Anthony Jeselnik makes fun of him a lot, which is hilarious. He has a new special out. It'll be out when this is out. It was almost a recommendation for you.
I did see that he was getting a new special out, and
it was almost your rec, but I haven't seen it yet.
Because Jeselnik said something really cool where he's like, it's not about being offensive when you're doing a joke.
Yeah, it's
being offensive but getting away with it.
Yeah, like, that's his whole
like a cool way to put it.
Yeah.
Andy Warhol, I think he said it, took the quote from.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes perfect sense, especially coming from him.
Yeah.
Who does do offensive things.
And he's dead set into comedy. I recommend that. That by the time this comes out, that'll be on Netflix. I'm gonna watch it. It's called Bones and All is his new stand-up special. I just didn't recommend it for Jake just because I'm like, he might like it, he might not.
Yeah.
You know, I
like
really
Anthony Jeselnik.
It's
been a long time since I thought about him.
He's great. He has a podcast as well that he's stopping doing because he hates that comedy is just podcasts now.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure.
He calls people out because he's a dyed-in-the-wool, I am a stand-up comedian. Yeah. He has a great article about him in Vulture that's out right now, too.
Oh.
Just an interesting guy, and I'm sure his special's good. So let's start with... Let's start with music. So I have it broken down by... I didn't break it down. I used ChatGPT to break it down. ChatGPT, I couldn't get it to...
You're so crazy about ChatGPT. It's like you get paid for them.
I love it.
You know how bad they are for the environment. Why isn't that a thing?
Is it worse than
I could make this for you.
Anything else I do?
Yes.
That can't be right. You don't know what I do.
I absolutely do know what you do.
I drive a hybrid, so I get to use ChatGPT. That's the trade-off.
Makes sense.
That's how environmentalism works. It's a one-for-one.
That's how old St. Peter's going to see it when you're at the pearly gates.
Right. If you're a rich billionaire that makes electric cars, you're allowed to sell those carbon credits to other companies that pollute because that's how the environment gets better.
I like it.
Good job, government.
When you die and you go to heaven, you stand in front of a meter. You have 2 meters that say good and bad, and you and Peter watch as the line goes up on both of them to see which one adds up to more.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, just missed it.
I mean, also, if you're powering an electric car with a coal-fired power plant, like just switch over to nuclear power. It's just so much easier.
I watched an hour and a half YouTube videos on electric vehicles.
Did you?
And just like, yeah.
Was it Tucker Carlson reviewing the Cybertruck?
No, it might be one of your recs coming up, but his name is Technology Connections.
Yeah.
And he's very smart and he's pretty funny.
There's this guy, his YouTube channel is Whistling Diesel, and he's just this crazy boy that like tries to wreck cars, and he tore apart a Cybertruck and just talked about what a piece of shit it is.
Yeah.
And then he has one where he has a Toyota Hilux, which is like the most indestructible car on the planet, and he literally couldn't break it. Like he was running it at 35 miles an hour into trees, and it still starts back up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
you got pie charts here.
Music. Jake, you were 13% music. I was 9% music.
I would say looking at this pie chart,
and that doesn't include De La Soul, so you actually would have been higher with music.
I am more diverse.
You know, I was shocked by how much TV you recommended.
Yeah, right?
Yours is pretty even. If you add together documentaries and movies, that's 60% of me.
Yeah.
It's a movie or a documentary.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what I like to do.
Yeah, that's true.
I think movies I recommend just because it's fun. It's a one-off. We could talk about it. Not to mention, 10 of those picks are Ben Affleck related, which are all movies. I mean, all Affleck April.
When we get into
if you're
Ben
new to the
Affleck's...
podcast, every April is all Affleck April. I've done it for 2 years now, where I recommend all Ben Affleck things. Are there 5 Fridays in April this year?
Oh, gosh.
That would be dope. Regardless,
Next year.
Music.
Yes.
Let's look at the list. So, out of your recommendations for me,
Yeah.
just looking back at it, one, we had the great episode about cheese industries, which we still don't know whether or not they're AI.
They're still making music.
Their AI is still a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just like they're out there doing stuff. I sent them emails. They're not reaching back out to me
Because they're a robot.
They're not. Somebody's hitting a button that says "create this."
I did it with this pie chart.
That's what I'm saying. I would contact you about the pie chart.
Yeah.
That's who I was like. I was like, "Hey, who made this pie chart?
Also,
Talk to me."
When I was trying to get ChatGPT to make this pie chart, it was just pointing out how poorly formatted my spreadsheet was. Because it was just like, I was telling it to make a pie chart, and it's like, I don't know what you're asking based on your data. And I was like, oh, can you show me how to make this data better? And it told me how to readjust my spreadsheet. Can't believe I worked at a law office for years making spreadsheets and stuff.
I can't believe.
So you turned me on to a couple things that I will say were probably my favorite. The Times New Viking record and Built to Spill, similar vein. But I got to say, probably, it could be a recency bias. I think my favorite music you recommended is probably Geese.
Yeah.
We just got done talking about it. It was last week's episode. And it could be 100% a recency bias. I think Geese is my favorite of your music.
I would say out of all the stuff that I've recommended to you, that one is the most up your alley, I would say.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff that I do listen to are stuff that I listen to that I think you would like.
Right.
Where Geese was like, oh, you're going to like this.
For
you know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
With like Times New Viking, I didn't know. I thought you would be interested in it, but I didn't know if you were going to really enjoy it a lot or not. I love it. So
And I think Built to Spill is probably a close second behind Geese. That's just a great record.
yeah.
Yeah.
Built to Spill, that was really good. You did not like Falcon Lake Incident.
No, I liked Falcon Lake Incident all right. It's just, the thing with the Falcon Lake Incident is it was named after a alien abduction.
Yeah.
Which
you
I
were just
found
way more interested.
I found
in
that Wikipedia, and I was like, why didn't you recommend this alien abduction story I had no idea about?
I liked Telemann.
Yeah.
I liked Wet Leg.
Wet Leg. Out of the things I recommend for you, I will say...
You put My Adventures with Superman in music.
Yeah, it's in the wrong column. That's one of the reasons
column.
ChatGPT told me I suck at making spreadsheets. My Adventures with Superman is a television show.
It's also Windfall was really good.
Uh-huh.
Rolling Stones was really good.
What about the Warriors musical?
The Warriors musical is very good.
Yeah.
I think Wet Leg might be my favorite out of these things.
Wet Leg's a great record.
Yeah.
That's self-titled. That was actually a recommendation that I pulled. So what I've said a bunch is like the two main inspirations for the show are the Weekly Planet podcast and one of the hosts of that, James Clement. He had another episode or another podcast with his wife, Claire, and it was called Suggestible. And they would just suggest things to each other. Mm-hmm. And they're a married couple. Jake and I have been friends longer than most people have been married. And it's just they would suggest things and then it would always end with, oh, yeah, I'll check that out. And there was a running joke where he had recommended that she read the book Project Hail Mary, and she never did. And it was a running thing about how she hasn't read Project Hail Mary, which is a great book. And then in Anthony Jeselnik's podcast, the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project, they would have a thing at the end where they would have a thing called Recommendation Station, where they would recommend things, books, TV shows, whatever. When Jake and I wanted to start a podcast, we were like, thought it'd be fun to do the recommendation, but the other person has to do it because that's like kind of the fun of recommending things to your friends. There's so many times you would say, hey, you got to watch that show, and you run into your friend later and it's like, hey, did you watch that? Like, oh, no, I haven't gotten around to it or whatever. This is like, no. I watched this documentary about ancient apocalypse. Now you're going to watch it, and we're going to talk about it. It's mandatory fun, to quote Weird Al. But same thing with this music.
It works out. It's been fun.
Wet Leg was a recommendation from Anthony Jeselnik on a recommendation station. He said, you got to check out Wet Leg. It's a great band. And I was like, yep, I'll check that out, Mr. Jeselnik. And nailed it.
They are.
Gave it to Jake.
They are very good.
Great record. Let's jump over to games.
Yes, sir.
Now, I tacked on, both of us tacked on one in episode 99 that's not on this list, Half-Life 2, which I've not played yet, and Neva, which you've not played yet, but we'll be talking about those in episode 101. I recommended to you two games this entire time.
Right.
Mostly because it's rare that I play a new game to me that you're not already hip to.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm the video game guy.
You are the video game. I'm the murder documentary guy. And the conspiracy theory guy. So I recommended a game to Jake. One, Sea of Stars, because the completionist, is he in
gone.
trouble. He's just kind of gone.
He's
now.
in big trouble.
Yeah, so we liked him. Jake spoke so highly of the Completionist and Mr. Beast. It's very strange. But he produced a game called Sea of Stars. Great little RPG. And I thought Jake would enjoy it. Jake
Wonderful
did enjoy
game.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I recommended GeoGuessr, which was actually, it's kind of mean putting that under the game category.
It is a game, but it's not a video game.
It was pretty much, I recommended the guy Trevor Rainbolt, who's like the king of GeoGuessr. And I had a lot of fun. I still play GeoGuessr. Jake recommended
a bunch of games.
Stardew Valley, Judgment, Return of the Obra Dinn, Outer Wilds, Max Payne, Anatomy, How Fish is Made, Loop Hero, Guardians of the Galaxy, Slay the Spire. Thank goodness you're here.
Yeah, man. I love games. And the thing is, people don't play these games. You never would have touched Thank Goodness You're Here.
No.
You know?
I will tell you, out of all of these games, Jake.
Yeah. Stardew Valley.
I think the only one I would have played, I might have played, had it not been for your recommendation, is the Guardians of the Galaxy game, just because it was free on PlayStation.
Right.
And if I had run out of other things to play, especially now that I got my PlayStation 4 upstairs, probably would have downloaded that and be like, I mean, that's how I ended up playing like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's because it was free on PlayStation Plus, and I'm like, I need something.
Yeah, sure.
So I probably would have gotten around to that. The rest of these games, I never would have played.
Yeah.
At games that I started to play after your input, the more indie games that I probably wouldn't have played but I just picked up now because I'm looking for more of that type of thing that I've loved. Dredge. Pick that up on my own. I'm sure that would have been a recommendation for you at some point.
Yeah.
Animal Well. Pick that up from you.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Now, I mean, and the game I recommended for you in episode 99, never would have picked that up.
Right.
Had it not been for you, but now I'm looking at that kind of.
I think you said you played the Plucky Squire.
Played the Plucky Squire, yeah.
Your kid?
Yeah.
I opened your world, buddy.
You did.
And
That's the whole point of this show.
Thankful.
That's the whole point of this show. I'm picking up fun little games like that.
You said something about video games. I can't remember. But I made it my mission to get you to appreciate. Oh, you said that Red Dead Redemption 2
is the greatest
video game of all time. And I was like, we have to broaden these horizons
right
a
in
little
front
bit.
of Banjo-Kazooie.
I said it dead, staring Banjo-Kazooie dead in its eyes.
It's right behind you.
Yeah, I know.
It's in plush form.
But when you said that, I was like, there's a lot of stuff that we have to...
You did.
Because it was, like, we got the Video Game Awards coming out, right? Yep. And Ballatro's up, but everybody's saying, like, Ballatro can't be Game of the Year, you know? There's no characters. There's no, story.
Right.
And it's like, it's not a movie. It's a game. It's a video game. Yeah. And it's one of the most meticulous and fantastic video games made, especially this year. So,
Pong didn't have characters either.
Who?
Pong.
Exactly. It's a game.
Right.
And it doesn't need these things. But the way video game trajectory is it has to be more like a movie for people to relate to it. And I don't really want that. I want to sway right back into what video games are, which are fun, exploratory, and a small team.
And I do lean towards the big. I mean, I still play Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm never going to.
I'm not going to say that that's not a good game because it's a great game.
The only games I really like pick up and play
it's not
through.
Even as good as Red Dead Redemption, man.
It's better than Red Dead Redemption.
That first one is the
first one's very good. We don't need to have this. You can listen back to at least
have this conversation all the time.
8 other episodes where we have this argument. But I would play the big games. I would play your God of War. I'd play your Breath of the Wild. I'd play your Mario games.
The AAA titles.
Yeah, the big ones. Mm-hmm. But now I'm looking for the smaller games. Hands down, my favorite game you've recommended is Stardew Valley. I still play Stardew Valley.
You just platinumed it, my friend.
I did not platinum Stardew Valley.
Oh, I thought I saw that trophy.
No, the perfection trophy. That's when you get perfection on the farm.
Oh. I thought that meant 100%.
Right. I sent that to you, and you were very proud of me.
Yeah.
Because I got perfection on the farm, and you get the perfection ending. Uh-huh. So I had told you that I started my PlayStation. I have it on my Switch. I have it on my PlayStation 2. I have it on my PlayStation 4, my PlayStation 5. My kid has it on her Switch. Love the game. The one I was playing on my PlayStation was my first one. If people don't know, Stardew Valley, it's a farming simulator. There's 2 courses you could take. You could either be like the good, quote unquote, way to go, where you bring back the community center, you find all these things, and you help the town. Uh-huh. Or you can go the Joja Mart route. Joja Mart is just Walmart.
Yeah.
/ Amazon / just big business.
Yeah.
And you can just buy your way into getting the end game stuff. Like you can buy all the good stuff that you would normally have to like craft or find or anything like that. So in PlayStation, I did a Joja Mart run first, and then I said I wanted to wait and start a new run when the 1.6 update comes out on PlayStation, which has like new festivals and other things like that, like new craftables and everything. It's fun. So I played the 1.6. That perfection is not on my 1.6 run.
Okay.
That's on the Jojo Mart run.
Okay.
Because something else they added in the 1.6 update is you can buy completion percentages. You can buy 1 percentage point completion towards perfection for $500,000. I spent $26 million in game currency to buy my way to completion.
Nice.
So that thing I sent you was a farce.
That wasn't a farce.
That was my. I mean,
it's a lot of money.
It counts towards. After that, I'm down to only $15 million because I just went full capitalist.
Jeez Louise.
Crushing it, dude. I've got 5 sheds filled with kegs making ancient wine. I'm turning $3 million a week.
Oh my gosh.
It's
dude.
bananas.
This is the grossest thing I've ever
whole
heard.
Ginger Island is
You're
just
right.
making ancient fruit.
Oh my god.
And
I'm
I've got
disgusted.
I've got the little Junimo huts, so they harvest for me, so I don't even have to be there.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
This is gross.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Still got that trophy, bitch. I don't give a shit what you think. I just knew you were going to be proud like grandpa's ghost for a little bit. It's like, no, motherfucker, I bought that. I bought that with the wine that I didn't
That
even.
is so funny.
I didn't even pick the fruit. The Junimos picked the fruit in the little huts I built for them.
This game is so beautiful, man.
Game fucking
because
rules.
I don't play it like that at all. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have completion in mind. I just like going out,
Yeah.
interacting with people, building up my little farm, and just like
Yeah.
I play it for hours, and then I just kind of stop after a while. And then you play games. You like getting platinum trophies.
I do.
And like you're like so into getting these things for this game.
Yeah.
And it's just great that it catered to you and it catered to me.
Right.
And it's just.
Well, here's the
Both
thing.
of us walked away being like, "This is one of the best
So
experiences
you can
I've
get.
ever had."
I still want to do it the right way, but you can get the
course.
perfection trophy. You can't get the platinum trophy. Like you can't buy the platinum.
That's good.
Which is interesting. Another weird thing. I mean, I'm best friends with everyone in my Jojo Mart
Which
run
is
because I
interesting.
built 4 coops, filled them with rabbits, and bought auto petters to make the rabbits automatically like you. And then you drop rabbits' feet, and then you just buy off the entire town by just running around passing out rabbits' feet to people, and everyone loves you by the end of a month. But I did do the first year community center in the second one. And then I tried to divorce Leah, and my game crashes whenever I divorce Leah.
Yeah, don't do that. She's the best.
And I looked on Reddit, and apparently that's the thing in the 1.6 update. The game crashes when you ever try to divorce somebody, which is very strange, but interesting. But yeah, hands down, we talked about it too much. Stardew Valley, best thing, best game you
One
recommended.
of the surprising things to me was how well you responded to Anatomy and Return of the Obra Dinn. Both
Close,
of those games are very, very
they're good.
different.
The close second to me is Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds is just an incredible
Outer Wilds
game,
is
too.
one of the best games I've ever played.
Yeah,
it's
hands
truly.
down.
But
And even Slay the Spire, I liked.
Right.
We were talking about in the last episode.
you saw what's great about it. Again, that was Game of the Year, by the way. That game is,
well,
hard work from a small dedicated team, and now you're at the point where you watch and you're like, I get it. I can see how people can get really involved in something like.
well,
this.
I mean, playing Slay the Spire is one of the reasons we talked about on the last episode when I was playing Pokemon trading card game Pocket. It's because I like Slay the Spire. Building a deck's kind of fun.
Yeah, deck builders are great, man.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
That's what I'm talking about.
So YouTube. Jake, you love the YouTube.
Yeah,
I
watch a lot
recommended
of
2 YouTube things this entire time. The film The Hunt for Gollum, which is a fan-made film that I picked just because it was after they announced that they're making a now 2-part movie, The Hunt for Gollum. It's not 1 movie anymore. It's 2 movies.
They're fucking it up.
Which is based off of a paragraph in the book. And these people made a 45-minute Hunt for Gollum thing. And I recommended that. So not really a YouTube rec. And then I did Full Moon Matinee on last episode, which Jake loved. Friend of the show, The Detective.
Yep.
And that's it. Jake recommended for me, going way back, YouTube channels, Super Bunny Hop, Grimbeard, Folding Ideas, Lasagna Cat, We're in Hell, Bobby Fingers, Mary Houlihan's Enchanted Pumice, Defunctland, Connor O'Malley again, Tom Walker, Internet Comment Etiquette, Lindsay Ellis, FD Signifier, Simone Yetch, and Manly Badass Hero.
Man, I got you to watch Lasagna Cat, dude.
Yeah, Jake was 15% YouTube.
Yo,
Yeah.
Lasagna Cat is art, baby.
So, I mean, I know your favorite thing that I recommend for YouTube is Full Moon Matinee. Like, that's just
Out of the 2?
Yeah, out of
that
the 2.
The Hunt for Gollum, 100%.
That you like that more than Full Moon Matinee?
No, of course I'm kidding. Full Moon Matinee.
Hunt for
is
Gollum was
great.
good, though.
That was really good.
It was a great
That
fan
was
film.
wonderful fun.
So, your recommendation 3, I gotta tell you, it's hard for me to pick my favorite.
Right.
Because I will. Well, let me just stick with this. I liked them all. Yeah. But the channels that I follow more and more now, that I get excited when they come up with something. Like I've watched some more Manly Badass Hero. I've watched some more Simone Yetch.
Yes, I love watching Simone Yetch.
And then I've watched more Grimbeard, Super Bunny Hop, those guys.
Yeah.
Great. We talked about in the last episode, there's new internet comment etiquette with Eric. That guy's great.
Oh, yeah. He's been doing
Tom
it
Walker,
for a long
obviously,
time.
Connor O'Malley, just funny comedians, consistently put out more funny stuff. Follow them. Friend of the show, Bobby Fingers. He's up there.
He
only has 5 videos.
Yeah, the Jeff Bezos rowing boat is one of the most complete works of art I've ever seen.
Yes.
That thing is a vision seen through to its conclusion, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Well, also, one of my favorite Bobby Fingers things that we didn't talk about, well, I think we talked about, but it was never a recommendation. He did a book, Power is the Strength of the Heart.
I was thinking about wrecking it to you. Have you been listening to it?
The audiobook, I've listened to it twice. It's hilarious.
Right.
It's one of the funniest things ever.
It's so good.
It's on Spotify for free. Bobby Fingers, he wrote, it's a throwaway joke in one of his videos where he writes an erotic novel, Power is the Strength of the Heart.
Yeah. He just
wanted Fabio gets hit with a goose episode.
Yeah.
And then he writes it and recorded it. The man's a full-on artist.
The dude is 100% committed.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
And so Bobby Fingers is up there, but Lindsay Ellis and FD Signifier, they're close for people that are, I guess, they video essayists, whatever you want. I still like seeing whenever they pop up with something new. I'll always watch it. My favorite one is Folding Ideas.
Did you watch FD Signifier's new one?
The Joker one?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Oh.
It's in my queue.
Really good.
Yeah, you mentioned
really
it like
stuff.
2 weeks ago. But,
yeah.
But Folding Ideas with Dan Olson.
Yeah. That one,
I've gone back and watched all of his stuff. He's amazing.
I'm going to sound like a scientist right now, but you responded really well to that recommendation.
I did.
Because it's one of those frustrating things when you show me something like Graham Hancock, and the only thing that's like hitting me in the back of my head is like, there's like fascist overtones to the things that he talks about. I don't know how to tell you it.
Okay. I will say they're not fascist overtones. Yeah. There are people that take that they take the wrong message away.
Yes.
People watch American Psycho and they think the point of that movie is to get good at business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That type of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like the base is something that I interact with a little bit more than just the content itself.
You're more online than I am.
Yes. And then but Dan's Searching for a Flat Earth is just fantastic.
Nails it.
You know what I mean?
Takes a turn halfway through where he's talking about debunking flat earth stuff. And that also got into my algorithm with a bunch of other flat earth debunkers. There's a guy, I forget his name, but he's like a professor something or other, but he's real funny, entertaining. He's more just putting down just flat earth. That's like all he does.
Oh, was it a kid?
Not a kid. He's younger than us, probably.
Minuteman?
No, not that guy. He hates Graham Hancock, though.
Yeah, he hates Graham Hancock. But I really enjoy his content.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's funny. He pops up in my Instagram reels all the time.
He might have been a wreck after a while.
Dan Olson definitely gets that from me.
Okay.
In that category. If this is an award show, the Alleys.
Best
YouTube recommendation, and I'll put that over mine. Best YouTube recommendation is Folding Ideas.
Okay.
For music, I will give the Alley to... I'm going to give it to Geese.
You calling it the Alleys?
Uh-huh.
Why don't we just call this the Alleys?
What do you mean?
Like, instead of episode 100
nope.
review.
No, because it's up your alley.
Yeah, but
like,
now it's an award show. We call it
the
the Alleys, and we give it the Alley. Yeah, best alley
goes
to...
Now we thought of it, but I've already made that cool album art. Dumbass. I'm going to give the Alley Award for best game to Stardew Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's going to be really hard because I didn't think about it too much.
Yeah.
Because
let's switch to books. Most of these books were comic books.
Yeah. That's mostly what we read.
Comic books Jake recommended Underwater Welder and Sweet Tooth. I recommended Spider-Man Life Story and 8 Billion Genies. Real books, I recommended collection of short stories, Glory Days by Simon Rich. And Jake recommended the philosophical book, The Courage to be Disliked. And then I recommended Jake the play, Glengarry Glen Ross.
That's true. And then where's the This Is How You Lose the Time War?
Oh, shit. I guess I didn't put that in here.
Yeah. That was one as well.
You're right. It is. I don't know why I didn't type that up.
Yeah.
Again, not great at spreadsheets. ChatGPT it couldn't find, like, I was trying to get it to automate and look at all the transcripts and find the score.
Yeah.
It won't do it.
No.
Asshole.
Piece of shit.
But yeah, This Is How You Lose the Time War was another one that I recommended.
Right.
So, Jake, which out of my books I recommended, which one do you like?
8 Billion Genies was pretty amazing.
8 Billion Genies is a great graphic novel.
Yes, that was a fantastic graphic novel. That's one of those ones where every chapter felt fantastic. It was so well. I think
great story, unique. A twist on the. If people haven't listened to that episode, 8 Billion Genies is when the Earth's population reached 8 billion. Everyone on the planet got a genie.
One wish.
With one wish at the exact same time, and shit goes awry immediately.
Yeah.
And then it chronicles 100 years, I think, before the last wish is taken away.
Yeah, it chronicles, we'll just say, every wish.
Every wish, yeah, until the last wish is wished.
Yeah. And you follow this bunch of people.
Core group,
Yeah, that were in a bar where the bartender was like, I wish everything that's happening outside here doesn't affect anything in this bar.
Yep.
And then
it's like a little safety zone.
It grows with amazing characters.
Great and unique.
What a wild situation. I think about the line, every kid's a miracle all the time. That's a beautiful thing to say. And I think about the guy in Antarctica whose wish was for a greener earth. And he was like, I've done my part. He's like, I just have to worry about everybody else. Meanwhile, it just zooms out and the earth is just on fire from all the other wishes that are happening. That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's one of those works where, again, it's somebody who's like, I have a fantastic idea and I am just going to nail it out.
Yeah. I think my favorite out of your book recommendations is The Courage to be Disliked. Just great.
Adlerian psychology.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful.
It was fun. And that was a great graphic novel, or not graphic, audiobook too.
Yes.
I think that's how I listened to it was, well, I mean, that's the only way you can listen to a book. But I
My
listened
favorite
to
way
it.
of listening to books is audibly.
Yeah. With my ears. Call me old fashioned. But yeah, I think out of your recommendations for books, that one was my favorite.
Wonderful.
Courage to be Disliked.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So what are we giving the alley to? You want to give it? I mean, I'm full for giving it to 8 Billion Genies.
I want to give it to 8 Billion Genies.
8 Billion Genies was my favorite thing.
After that, How to Lose the Time War was also fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, another one where when the story starts picking up and they start confessing their love to each other.
Sweet.
It's it's just so great. That language is so beautiful sometimes that we get such great sentences out there.
It wasn't a recommendation, but you've read the first volume of Something is Killing the Children, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just finished volume 8. It's so good. Volume 8,
I'm so afraid to continue that story.
You'd love it.
I don't think so.
You're going to love it.
I think they're going to go into the lore a lot more.
Nope.
Oh, then maybe I will like it.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. It's kind of like I mean, they don't go too lore heavy. They're like these are the rules.
I like the characters and I like situations.
It's character focused.
Yeah.
It's not lore. It's not like go with huge backstory and stuff.
Yeah.
In the most recent in volume 8, there's one issue and they're all like kind of separate vignettes in volume 8. But Erica, if you don't know Something is Killing Children, Erica Slaughter, she works for the House of Slaughter. Monsters are real and they're monster hunters. Monsters are created out of the fear of children. And she's trying to find, and this one was my favorite, might have been my favorite issue of the book, but she's trying to find this monster and they can't figure out why the monster is it's not killing children, it's only killing dogs in the town. And then they found out that one of the kids' dogs just had puppies and the kid's dad was really mean to the dog. So the monster was made out of the puppy's fear from the abusive person.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like a puppy killing monster, but it's like really sweet.
This is
like
who you're mean to.
Right.
When you're mean to me, this is who you're
that's kind
being
of goes
mean
into
to.
the lore and everything like that. But Erica,
no, that's nice.
The character, she's like, wait, can puppies be scared?
Yeah, right.
And it just, I like dog
Absolutely.
stuff. That's why I recommended Neva to you, because there's a wolf there. Anything with a dog, I'm a sucker for.
I'll get you to play Okami.
Let's jump over to Other real quick, which is basically podcasts and stand-up comedy specials.
Yeah.
I recommended to Jake for podcasts the episode of Camp Gagnon with William Trubridge, who is a free diver. Jake recommended to me Dr. Game Show, Behind the Bastards, Darknet Diaries, and then stand-up specials. I recommended to Jake Neil Brennan's Three Mics, John Mulaney's Baby Jake, Colin Quinn, Our Time Is Up, Laura Davis, If This Is It.
Oh, yeah.
And Dave recommended David Tell's Hot Cross Buns and Connor O'Malley's Stand-Up Solutions.
Yeah, the only reason I even recommended Hot Cross Buns is because I just
We were
wanted
going
to
to talk
about it.
anyway.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about it anyway.
We were both so excited to watch that, and we watched it. And yes, that's the type stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
When it's done by a true
Comic
of the craft, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just
Attell's the best.
He comes back out of nowhere and just lays out a fantastic set.
Yeah.
I was floored.
I think my favorite out of your other recs, I'm going to have to give it to not this episode specifically, but definitely Behind the Bastards. So Behind the Bastards hosted by Robert Evans, who I had known from crack.com.
Right.
But I never really listened to his podcast. The people that I ended up following more from the crack days, Daniel O'Brien went to work for Last Week Tonight, which I watch all the time. Cody Johnston does Some More News, which I watch all the time. And then Jason Pargin, who goes by David Wong in his books. I still read his books. I'm halfway through his new one. I'm starting to worry about this Black Box of Doom.
Oh.
He's still great. But I never really followed Robert Evans after he left crack. And then when you recommend this, I was like, oh yeah, I know this guy.
Right.
I listen to Behind the Bastards every time. It's a podcast series where he just goes on the worst people in history.
Yep.
Great. You recommend the Vince McMahon ones.
Yeah.
I like those, but he does better ones. He does a series on Alan Dulles. He did one on Peter Thiel. He's doing one right now on T.E. Lawrence of Arabia. What was the most recent one where I had never heard of this guy, but the guy, Curtis Yarvin. I had no idea. He's some right-wing tech guy who does philosophy. He's basically an evil wizard of fascism that J.D. Vance listens to.
Oh, awesome.
And Peter Thiel and all those tech fucking weirdos.
Great.
But yeah, the Behind the Bastards about him, I had no idea who this guy was. If you say the name Curtis Yarvin, I didn't know.
Yeah,
but I'm he's the guy that does this? He's like a monarchist in a weird way. But some rich technocrat should be a monarch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Behind the Bastards, Robert Evans.
I knew you would like that.
Yeah,
a whole bunch.
It's great.
Yeah.
I listen. It's definitely in my podcast rotation. I listen to every episode. It's great. And his producer Sophie is always just so befuddled by how humorous Robert finds how bad these people are. And it's just Robert laughing about how bad these people are, and Sophie just going, "Oh no!" And the Alan Dulles episode specifically, Alan Dulles is just a fucking monster. But it's great. What do you like the best out of my Rex?
Well, I just remembered Laura Davis. Looking at her name, that was
Great
awesome.
special.
Yeah,
Great
that was
special.
a great special. She's funny. Her just writing her stand-up special out in the woods, and just revealing that. She written in big letters, "You're doing fine."
Yeah.
That's great. The Camp Gagnon episode, I haven't gone back to Camp Gagnon to listen to it.
He pops up. He likes some conspiracy stuff on his, UFO people, and not conspiracy that bad, but UFO, and he likes a Graham Hancock style guy.
This particular episode was very good.
With the freediver William Trubridge.
Where it just went through Trubridge breathing exercises and
fascinating episode.
Yes, it's fascinating.
Yeah,
because just how he developed his life around his breathing, and I was like, that's really interesting and fun. And you do the breathing exercises, you will feel a lot calmer. It's awesome. So I loved that. And Baby J, of course,
John
Mulaney's Baby J,
hard to beat.
That's an incredible way to come back.
Yeah,
yeah. Just you address it. And then you become the spectacle again, just singing a weird song at the beginning to get everybody back on your side.
I haven't gone back to that special, but he doesn't make bad specials.
I showed it to my friends.
He's too much of a showman.
After I watched it.
Yeah.
And then I went to a friend's place, and I was like, we got to watch this. I got to put it on for you guys. This is amazing.
I think out of the other, out of your recommendations, I'm going to give it to Darknet Diaries, but if you give...
But I want to give it a particular shout out to Stand Up Solutions from Conor O'Malley.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
He's great.
Yes, he was great, and this is one of the best stand-up. I have seen it 4 times now.
Now I might... Other's hard, because I don't want to compare... All right, best podcast, I'm going to give it to Darknet Diaries. But since it's an other category, I'm going to give it to... Conor O'Malley's up there, too.
Yeah.
Or not Darknet Diaries, sorry, Behind the Bastards.
There it is. All right.
But
Conor O'Malley's and Dave Attell have both different approaches to...
Other's a tie.
Yeah.
Other's
Absolutely.
just a tie.
Absolutely. It's just shout outs.
It's an other category
Yeah.
for a reason. And I started, like, one of the first episodes, Neil Brennan's Three Mics.
Yeah.
One of the best stand-up specials I've seen in years and
Really?
years.
I thought it was fine.
And you should watch Neil Brennan's Blocks or his new one, Crazy Good. Like,
Yeah.
he's done 2 specials since then. He's
I
still
wasn't
good.
particularly. I liked it, but
You'd probably like Blocks better.
Laura Davis was really good.
Documentary category. Jake had Wrestling with Shadows, The Last Waltz, Telemarketers, and The Greatest Night in Pop. I had Hatchet-Wielding Hitchhiker, Full Swing, Facing Nolan, Untold, The Rise and Fall of Anne 1, My Octopus Teacher, Arnold, Finn, BS High, Punk the Capital, Love Has Won, The Cult of Mother God, American Nightmare, Octopus Murders, Movie Pass, Movie Crash, How to Rob a Bank, Taylor Swift vs. Scooter Braun, Bad Blood, Love Charlie, Chimp Crazy, and Martha.
Man.
So this is
So many great documentaries in there,
YouTube and games were huge discrepancies between me not recommending anything and you recommending a lot. And then documentaries was crazy that I was giving you so many documentaries.
Yeah.
Like just documentaries was almost 20% of my recommendations. That's like, you know, a lot. It's 18-ish documentaries that I recommended to you.
Man, Punk the Capital was really fun.
Yeah. I mean, out of yours, I mean, they were all good. Telemarketers was my favorite, but I don't
I'm
think-
happy. When I was on to like the second episode, I was like, Taylor's gonna dig this big time.
I think out of the things I recommended for you that I liked the most, I mean, again, recency bias thing, it's probably Martha. But Finn was an amazing documentary done by Eli Roth about the shark fishing industry.
Finn's very upsetting.
My Octopus Teacher was very sweet.
I love My Octopus Teacher.
And
it's something that I still have to talk to my friends because they're like, he neglected his family. And like, the whole point is that he wasn't neglecting his family the whole time.
right.
Like at the very end, he's like, oh yeah, my family was there the whole time. This was a family bonding experience.
Right. Yeah.
It's like nobody watched it. I go crazy having to explain this every time to people. It's awesome.
Punk the Capital, I think, was great. That resonated with both of us. That was just a fun documentary about the history of the DC
we love
hardcore
the music.
scene.
Yeah, we're right outside of DC. So
Yeah. Facing Nolan, I liked a lot more than you. Full Swing, you didn't like a lot because I was about golf.
Yeah.
Love Charlie and Taylor Swift were not good. I think How to Rob a Bank was
that was great.
That was great.
That was a great story.
And then I think what clicked with us a lot was the Movie Pass Movie Crash, just because that's something we lived through. It's back now. Movie Pass is back.
Yeah.
Now.
I keep looking at it and I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of a nice idea.
They're not sending out the cards. You got to send me a card, man.
Yeah, it was really nice.
It's all on your phones now.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think for documentaries?
Well, I love cults. So Mother God was very interesting.
That was a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's every cult story is like exactly the same. It always starts off pretty damn fun.
And then they start banging each other.
That's part of the fun part. Unbelievable that you were like, and then they started having sex, and I was like,
hey
I'm
guys,
out. I was like, Mom,
this
pick
isn't
me
what
up.
we're here for.
Yeah. Can we get back to working at McDonald's, guys?
Seriously.
This is a
I
cult.
thought we were
Come
just
on.
here to give everyone all of our money, right?
It's just everybody having a good time,
Yeah.
and then it starts becoming just secluded.
Yeah.
And then they just start going crazier and crazier, and then the poor lady turns blue.
Yeah.
It was just.
So you're gonna give it to Cult of Mother God?
Crazy. Well, it's just one of the ones that are sticking out in my head. I can't even remember Facing Nolan.
That's about Nolan Ryan. All the people that were pitching against
right.
Nolan Ryan.
You sold a bill of goods on that one.
Why?
Because you said that he gets into fights all the time. He got into
did.
one fight.
He got into fights pretty good. They showed one fight.
He got fights once. I was happy that you watched Wrestling with Shadows.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those ones. You gave it a 3
It was good.
because you
I
were
found
like-
out what kayfabe was.
Yeah.
And it drove me insane because I couldn't tell whether or not the whole thing was kayfabe.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Linda McMahon's going to
wonderful.
be our Secretary of Education.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Isn't that wonderful?
Neat.
Gosh darn it.
Neat.
It's just one of those signs.
Yep.
Just one of those signs.
Yep.
Chimp crazy.
Things Jake recommends does really well. The McMahons, Mr. Beast, the completionist,
I love these people.
chimps that eat people's faces. Things Jake loves.
Chimp crazy was
Fucking nuts.
eye-opening.
Yeah.
It's one of those damn things where I love chimps. I
Yeah.
love chimp movies.
Mm-hmm.
People forget I'm too old. When I was growing up, there was always a chimp in a movie.
Always. Chimp, orangutan, some kind
Yeah.
of ape was in everything.
And I literally thought like Alan Cumming thought, which is
Everything's fine after.
everybody's fine. And then no, of course not. It's the worst thing.
So in that same vein, I think my favorite out of the documentaries was Finn, just because Finn was it wasn't a series. It was just one documentary.
And it's eye-opening.
And I'm not a big Eli Roth fan because I'm not a big horror fan. And that one was just really like, I grew up around sharks and stuff in Florida, and then just seeing how the sharks were treated, I was just like, this is fucking terrible. I think that was one of the most it was probably one of the most horrifying movies that I've seen in a long time. And it's bloody.
People still don't know about this shark.
I think everyone should watch Finn.
Yeah.
So what are you giving the alley to?
If I could give the alley out, I don't know.
It's a tough one.
Chimp Crazy, maybe.
You give it a Chimp Crazy?
Yeah.
I'm not
it
mad
helped
at
me. I love him.
I'm not mad at Chimp Crazy. You know what? We will give it a Chimp Crazy.
I love
just because it's a
documentary.
good hook. It's a good documentary. It's a good hook. There's a good storyline to it.
Where it makes me interact with
it was
something that's inside of me.
It was similar to American Nightmare, where it's a 3-part documentary where it tells a story.
Yeah.
Over part. American Nightmare was a great documentary.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
That was a mind bender.
So it goes Chimp Crazy. Let's move on to TV. Before we get to the big category.
We're pretty close.
You recommended more TV than I thought.
Yeah.
TV, I recommended Koala Man, History of the World Part 2, Star Wars Visions, Jury Duty, Bupkiss, one episode of The Bear, which was Forks, Twisted Metal, The Flash. Oh, wait, The Flash is a movie.
Why did you do this?
I suck it. That robot was right. 3 Body Problem, Conan O'Brien Must Go, The Goat, and Batman Cape Crusader.
Man, your batting average is high on TV, man.
Jake recommended Twin Peaks, Food Wars, Garth Marenghi's Darth Place, The Venture Brothers, Stella, Clone High, FLCL, How To, John Wilson, Scavenger's Reign, Smarty Pants, Cyberpunk. Smarty Pants could have probably gone with other, but
no, that's a TV show
or YouTube. No, I guess it's its
own thing.
Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, Better Off Ted, Like a Dragon, Yakuza, and Star Trek: Deep Space Nine. Are you caught up with Like a Dragon, Yakuza?
No,
I think I'm like one episode behind. It's still good.
Yeah,
it's still good.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah,
you're just like.
It's fine. It pops up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll watch this. Well, I'm not popping popcorn and sitting down and watching it, but I'll put it on.
Okay.
You got to pay attention because I do like that one with the subs.
Yeah,
it's another thing you've changed me on is subs versus dubs.
Nice
in this.
Man, that's great.
Out of your recommendations, I think something that it's a tie between two.
Yeah,
between Scavenger's Reign and Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Okay.
Scavenger's Reign, I think I'll give my vote from your Rex to Scavenger's Reign. Just because I would not have watched it had you not recommended it. And it's newer. And I was just like, this is kind of under the radar a little bit. Like Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, I didn't know about it, but a lot of people know about it.
Yeah.
And
it's a cult classic.
It's good. Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely, I'll give, out of your choices, I give it to Scavenger's Reign.
Yeah.
Out of my choices, what did you like the best?
You did really good. With these TV things.
Try to pick and choose, man.
Probably one of the things that you've done like the best that I would give it to is the episode of The Bear that you gave me.
Yeah, so that was one of my favorite picks that I picked for you because I wanted you to watch The Bear. You had said that you hadn't watched The Bear.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to watch The Bear. That's what I was saying.
And instead of making you watch the pilot of The Bear, I had you jump ahead to an episode from season 2.
Yep.
Called Forks, which I still feel is the best episode of the series.
It's still my favorite episode.
Which is all about Cousin Richie. It was also like the first big TikTok that we made that actually, it's our most viewed TikTok, was it? Clip from that episode. And it's when Richie goes to the nice restaurant and learns how about customer service in a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
And you watched that apropos of not knowing anything.
I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And I was telling you, I wasn't going to watch The Bear because we worked in the food industry. It gives me a whole bunch of anxiety to even think about doing any food stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't watch this. It's just going to make me anxious.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, watch this episode. Just this episode, then we'll see. Watch this episode, and it completely changed my mind.
Made you go back and watch the whole show.
Made me go back, watch the whole show.
Yeah.
It was like this. Richie is such a great character. And seeing how different he is from the first season, just how much he developed, was incredible. Because he was a bit of an asshole when you start. And then watching him, like, I didn't hate him because I was like, I just like him so much from the Forks episode.
Yeah.
That I just know he's a good guy.
It gave you a little through line to help you power through the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I'll give it to that too. I think just because one, that's the best episode of that show. And it's a good show. And that's my favorite thing that I picked because I feel like I nailed that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You threaded the needle right there. You're like, this is what's going to get you into it.
I stuck it on the fork.
Yeah.
Because the episode's called
I would
Forks.
say the other thing that I mean, Koala Man was great.
Jury Duty
was so good.
Yeah.
Bubkiss.
Conan O'Brien Must Go, but that was one of the wrecks that like Jake would have gotten around to that eventually.
I don't know if I would have watched it.
Yeah. I would have told you about it and you would have put it on eventually. That's not something like I found and tricked you on.
I am so happy that they're making another season.
Of course they are.
But that show is incredible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have watched that Batman if you didn't offer. I thought that was fantastic.
And I also had My Adventures of Superman, which is in the wrong category, but that's another
That's
TV
true.
show. Yeah.
That was also really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jury Duty, I wouldn't have watched that at all.
Yeah.
And then that episode of Star Wars Visions,
the anime one. Like Battle of the Twin Heads or something. I forget what
something
it's
like that.
Two
Dark
Heads.
Head, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But that one's really, really good.
Are we going with the bear though?
I would go with the bear.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think that was awesome.
All right, last category. Movies.
That's
God, we watched a lot of movies over 2 years.
Like you said, movies are easy to recommend, easy to watch.
It was 40% of my recommendations were movies. 30% of Jake's recommendations were movies.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's the biggest category for both of us by a long shot.
Oh.
My recommendations for Jake: Time Bandits, The Big Short, The Menu, Banshees of Inisherin, Catherine Called Birdie, 3,000 Years of Longing, 65, No One Will Save You, Outlaw King, Vengeance, Meg 2, The Trench, Elite Squad, Spiderhead, Killer, Please Don't Destroy the Treasure of Foggy Mountain, Rebel Moon, Fool's Paradise, The Holdovers, Self-Reliance, Killers of the Flower Moon, Bottom, Enemy, Blackberry, Napoleon, Theater Camp, Axel F., The Instigators, American Horizon, American Saga, Rebel Ridge, Under Paris, Killer He, 4:30 Movie, Wolves, and Hellboy the Crooked Man. Jake's recommendations: Nightmare on Elm Street, It Follows, Tale of Zatoichi, Waking Life, Stretch, Bunraku, Karate Robo Zabugar, The Shape of Water, Under the Skin, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Mystery Science Theater 3000, watching Time Chasers, Primer, Spirited Away, Long Goodbye, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist, that was your horror vibe, Crime Wave, Dream Scenario, They Clone Tyrone, Anatomy of a Fall, Thin Man, Iron Claw, Dinner in America, Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. I like how we both recommended a part of Rebel Moon to the other person. Wrong Cops, The People's Joker, Hundreds of Beavers, Blood Diner, and In a Violent Nature.
Yeah.
Now you notice I left out some of those because we have a separate category at the end.
Okay. Also,
out of your recommendations for me,
well,
just going by our thing of the thing that I probably wouldn't have watched, but I really enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would, it's probably going to be Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver.
I'm going to fucking kill you. Oh my God.
I wouldn't have watched that. Because I famously hated Rebel Moon Part 1, and you loved it. And you're just like, oh no, you're going to watch it. But in seriousness, kind of a movie I haven't gone back to, but I think a lot about. I gotta say, Primer really stuck with me. Primer is an indie film. It's about time travel in a storage unit.
Yeah.
I had no idea about it. I had never heard about it before. After I watched it, I watched YouTube breakdowns of it because it's a very convoluted thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, out of your recommendations, I think the one that you picked out that was something strange to me, something I'd never heard of, and really enjoyed, I would say Primer is probably my pick. Closely followed by Dinner in America, which was great. People's Joker and Hundreds of Beavers, also really good.
Awesome.
And there's one other one. Bunraku, which was a listener rec.
Yeah.
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 That Bunraku was great.
But yeah,
movies are like really fun to recommend to people, and it's really fun to get people to actually watch them.
The whole point of the show is we spent years recommending movies to people. Now you can actually make the person watch the thing.
It's so good.
So yeah, Primer gets my choice. Looking at my picks for you,
yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking
going back. There are some things I forgot that you recommended to you. Like I completely forgot about Spiderhead, and I love that movie.
Spiderhead was great.
I forgot that we did an episode about Meg 2, The Trench. I thought that was just something that we watched in normal life. I forgot that we did an episode, that it was a recommendation.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Dude,
I'm so sorry, Jason.
And also, No One Will Save You. That was on Hulu. Great alien movie. Small stakes horror movie with like no dialogue in it.
That movie was awesome.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? 3,000 Years of Longing was really cool. Recommendation from you.
You love genie stuff.
I love genie stuff.
8 billion genies.
8 billion genies.
3,000 Years of Longing.
I liked it because you watched it and you were like, Jake would like this.
Yeah.
You know, you weren't
I thought it was okay.
with it. Yeah.
You liked it.
But you were like, Jake's going to like this. And I did. I was like, this movie is awesome. Meg 2 I'm really sorry, Jason. I want to watch all your movies in theaters now. I promise.
Yeah,
I'm so
you missed
bad.
The Beekeeper.
When I missed The Beekeeper, and then I watched it. I was like, how dare I?
The Beekeeper fucking rules.
I can't believe I watched the trailer of it, and I was like, that looks too stupid.
Did I tell you about how I saw The Beekeeper?
You saw it when your daughter went to see a different movie.
She went to see a different movie with her friends that are her age, and then the friend that she was with, Dad, had to take the younger kids to go see. It's called it's Going South or something. Some animated movie about It's called Migration, I think. And so he had to take the young kids to go see some shitty movie. The kid and the mom was going to see Mean Girls the musical, and I got to sit upstairs by myself and watch The Beekeeper.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, Beekeeper fucking rules. It was great.
Yeah.
I had a Pepsi Zero and a whole thing of popcorn to myself just watching Jason Statham stab a shotgun barrel through someone's neck.
Bro.
Beekeeper fucking rules.
Meg 2 was just like,
Great movie.
This is great.
If you get all the air out of your chest, you can walk on the bottom of the ocean.
65 was a very surprising
Fun
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
I wish they would make
you
more
pick
of this.
out. You did a great job of picking out movies that I just would have looked over.
I also remember you liking Banshees of Inisherin a lot, too.
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I thought I recommended it to you.
No.
I don't remember, but that's great. That's a great recommendation.
So we were bouncing back and forth trying to talk about Oscar stuff. Which
yes,
we'll probably do.
that's true.
We'll probably do in January again.
Okay.
So when you made me watch fucking Anatomy of a Fall.
Yep, I love that movie.
Fuck that movie.
Still love that movie.
And I made you watch Killers of the Flower Moon.
And I love that movie.
The Holdovers, which fucking ruled as well.
Holdovers did really rule.
Yeah.
Killer of the Flower Moon is
Did I tell you
very,
that
very
kid
good.
from the Holdovers is playing Anthony Bourdain?
No, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
But
The kid from the Holdovers is playing Anthony Bourdain in an Anthony Bourdain movie.
That's a fine choice.
Yeah.
Is it called Kitchen Confidential?
Probably, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably, right.
Yeah. It's like young Anthony Bourdain doing drugs and cooking.
It's going to be called Kitchen Confidential, No Reservations.
Maybe.
The Anthony
Regardless,
Bourdain story.
it's going to be a good movie. That kid's a good actor.
I hope it'll be a good movie.
So what are you thinking?
This one's really hard. You know?
Outlaw King was good too.
Outlaw King was really good.
I fucking loved Outlaw King.
It was crazy. Robert the Bruce.
Well, you pick one movie and it has to go up against the movie I said.
Primer?
Primer, yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon. Out of these movies that are here, I think is...
You're going to pick Rebel Moon and I'll pick Rebel Moon.
I think it's one of, it's just, that movie is so
Yeah, but
great.
you would have gotten around to that anyway.
Yeah.
Pick something
A movie
fun like Primer.
I'm getting to it!
All right.
The movie I loved that I probably wouldn't have watched were the comedies. So, and I'm having a hard choice between Bottoms and Theater Camp.
Both good.
I wouldn't have seen either one of them without your recommendation.
Yeah.
Both of them are incredible.
Yeah.
Bottoms might be the win for me.
Special shout out to Please Don't Destroy the Legend of Foggy Mountain.
That was a good movie.
Great nonsense comedy from those boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
But man, Bottoms, that is so my jam, and I had no clue.
Bottoms versus Primer.
Yeah. Bottoms takes it.
You think Bottoms? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bottoms
Absolutely.
was really fucking funny.
Bottoms is just, that's the type of silly, weird movie that I love.
All right, the alley goes to Bottoms. Until we get to the final category, which is the most important category, which is the best Affleck.
Yeah.
The most important thing. And this is an award that Jake solely gets to give out.
This
the
is
final
crazy.
award of the night.
Oh, I know what to give it. You're going to be mad.
The greatest achievement in Affleck for the first 100 episodes. So we have our normal amount of all Affleck April, and then we had 2 special all Affleck April tie-ins. First ones were Argo, the director's cut of Daredevil, Gone Baby Gone, and Phantoms. Then most recently I did Air, The Last Duel, Jersey Girl, Paycheck. Sneaking in last Christmas was Reindeer Games. And also I'm going to count The Flash. We're going to put that in there too, just because something has to be last. So I'm going to put The Flash in there too.
The Flash is
If I had to make
not
a
good
case for what I think you would pick,
Yeah.
I think you were happily surprised by the director's cut of Daredevil.
Yes, that's true.
I think you went back and liked Jersey Girl more than you did the first time you saw it.
That's true, but I wouldn't say that I particularly...
But you liked it
think it's
more
great.
than you did.
Yeah. It's not a bad movie by any means.
I will say I think I did well with the last week of All Affleck April for both of them. I think that your choices are going to be between Phantoms and Paycheck. 2 movies which are joke punchlines.
Those movies
When
are
you think about
wild.
When
Yes.
you think about I'm going to make fun of a Ben Affleck movie, everyone's like, oh, like fucking Phantoms, or like,
Yeah.
oh, you're going to go watch Paycheck?
Yeah.
And I will objectively say both of those movies are good movies.
Yes, both of them are so fun.
Unironically enjoy, and I remember closing out All Affleck April, which I already know the fourth week of All Affleck April this year. It's already in my head. It's going to be so much fun to talk about.
That's great.
But I think your choice is going to be between Phantoms and Paycheck. Am I right that it's one of those two?
Yes.
Yes.
I love that I started with a caveat. I'm going to choose one and it's going to make you mad. And you're
No.
like, it's between Phantoms and Paycheck, isn't it?
It's
And I'm like,
100%
oh my
between
God.
Phantoms and Paycheck. I almost thought about throwing in Reindeer Games because Reindeer Games was fun too.
Reindeer Games was really good.
Great Christmas movie.
My goodness.
Yeah.
You did change me around on Ben Affleck.
100%.
Like, and it took no effort. All the effort was on me. Just
Jake,
watch his movies.
That's the whole point of the show.
Yeah,
you told
right?
me sit down and play Stardew Valley.
Yep.
400 hours later, I'm still playing Stardew Valley. All I had
Now-
to do was sit down and curate a list of here's why Ben Affleck
Yeah.
is great, and then you love Ben Affleck.
Yeah, now I watch him when there's like paparazzi video of him slamming J-Lo's door, and then
Did you see him go off on AI?
yes,
Great.
he's
very
so well versed,
well spoken,
in everything. Yes,
and everything. It was so
when he
you
wants
find
to
this
speak
clip-
about something, it's because he thought about it.
When you find
That's
this clip
amazing.
on YouTube of him talking about AI, he thinks you're getting angry. So
Yeah.
he's an empath. The dog just came over and started licking Jake because he thinks you're getting upset.
Hey, big boy.
When he's talking about AI and he's on this panel, and I guess they try to serve it to him like a gotcha question, like what's AI's role in film? They're like, oh, this actor will have some dumb answer and we can
Yeah.
make fun of him. And he gives this well thought out answer. And at the end, the people on the panel are like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
He thought about it.
yeah,
Yeah. I love him. He loves movies.
homie's
man.
making points.
Yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, like Daredevil.
yeah.
The director's cut makes it a better movie.
It does.
It's not great.
It's got Coolio.
It's got Coolio.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
So what are you giving the alley to?
It has to go to Phantoms.
Phantoms.
Phantoms is
I knew
so
it was going to be a
good.
toss up.
Phantoms is, if I watched that movie as my first Ben Affleck movie, I would have been like, Ben Affleck's one of the best.
And I think Phantoms works, and I'm happy you gave the award to Phantoms. I would have been happy with Phantoms or Paycheck. I would have been happy with any of them.
Yeah.
I knew you weren't going to give it to Air, even though I think Air is a good movie. Gone Baby Gone that he directed,
Yeah.
also a great movie.
Really good movie. Yeah.
Why Phantoms is the perfect one.
Argo,
Great movie.
great movie. Yeah.
Last Duel, fucking great movie. He
That's
directed the
very
Last Duel.
true. Last Duel was surprisingly awesome.
I think Phantoms is the perfect movie to win this award because it is a joke. It's a punchline.
It's not a joke,
No, but it's a
not-
punchline. It's
Yeah.
a hack reference for Ben Affleck
It's a
was
B
in Phantom.
movie type thing,
Kevin
yeah.
Smith, his friend, made that into a joke.
Yeah.
Affleck, you
You
the bomb in
bomb.
Phantoms.
Yeah.
But guess what? He was.
Yeah.
And Phantoms was great.
Yes.
So I'm happy. So let's go through our winners. First 100 episodes.
Yeah.
First 99 episodes. However
Best
long it
movie
is.
we watched.
Our favorite documentary was
Chimp Crazy.
Chimp Crazy. Our favorite book, 8 Billion Genies.
Yo.
Our favorite game, Stardew Valley. Not even fucking close. Our favorite...
Debatable. Obra Dinn, I think, is one of the most perfect.
Stardew Valley
games.
gets the award. We can agree that
Understood.
Stardew Valley gets the award.
But Assange's game.
Music. What do we give music to?
Oh, Wet Leg, I thought?
Wet Leg. That's right.
Yeah.
Wet Leg gets the music. For YouTube, Dan Olson's channel, Folding Ideas.
True.
Television show, we gave it to
The Bear.
The Bear. And for regular movie, we gave it to Bottoms, great comedy.
Yeah.
And for the All Affleck Award, it goes to Phantoms.
Yeah, boy.
100 episodes, baby.
100 episodes, bud.
Next week, we're going to be back. We're going to be talking about the video game Neva. We're going to be talking about the video game Half-Life 2 with the audio commentary. 100 episodes. Let's do 100 more.
We'll try.
This is fun. All right.
Best I
Jake,
got is 20.
Fair enough. One of these days, we'll figure out the score. Jake, thanks for coming over. Love you, bud.
Love you too, man.
Bye.